Hey guys, today we're going to talk about three more movies from 2021. We're starting with being the Ricardos, directed by Aaron Sorkin, who is famous for being an amazing screenwriter. I think he has a couple of Oscars, and now he's directing movies, and he's directing this movie about Lucille Ball and her husband Desi Arnaz when they did the I Love Lucy show. And this movie recounts a week of filming an episode of I Love Lucy, but to be honest, it has flashbacks to when they met, so it kind of cheats a little bit, which I don't really particularly like. This movie tells the story about this famed actress that began her career thinking of the possibility of being a movie actress, and she never really got to do that, but she was one of the first trailblazers of television. The movie kind of illustrates how she was so powerful in a way in the TV media because her show was the most well seen of all, but she also had problems of her own with her husband because her husband was apparently into other ladies as well, so she was very hurt by that, and eventually they actually divorced, as they say in the end of the movie. A power couple breaking up, I think that part sounded more like an interesting movie than what we get here. I mean, this movie is on Amazon Prime if you want to check it out. I think it's just another biopic, another of those fast biopics that Aaron Sorkin loves. The flashback, it's not that they don't make sense, but they're really there just to tell us who she is and how she is and what kind of person she is, and her husband too, and that's it. I mean, I would prefer something that really throws us into the argument and only talks in the present of the characters and not with flashbacks. I think it's very lazy, and I think the performance from Nicole Kidman, she's getting awards and all of that, but is it perfect? Is it the best thing ever? No. I mean, Nicole Kidman has done so much greater work than this. I don't really understand why she's getting awards, to be honest, for this performance, because it's fine, but it's not Nicole Kidman at her best, and it's not Lucille Ball either. I mean, there's a disconnect with Lucille Ball, the actress, the real person, and her character on I Love Lucy, and I think that one part of that is really well nailed by Kidman, but the other part has nothing to do. Javier Bardem, again portraying a Cuban person, Cuban origin. There are Cuban actors and Latin American actors. Hire them. I mean, why again Javier Bardem, who doesn't really have a great performance here? He's a little bit stereotypical, and maybe Desi Arnaz was stereotypical, but I mean, come on. And there's a thing here about him, fleeing Cuba because of the revolution, and I think the movie didn't explain that it wasn't the revolution that Fidel Castro had that turned Cuba into a communist country. This was a revolution prior to that when the military took power in Cuba, and that really benefited the United States at the end. So they don't really address that, and they make you believe it's the other revolution. So that bothered me, to be honest. That really bothered me. This is just a biopic. I think the best part of these movies, maybe the art direction is really well done, the costume design, the screenplay is pretty good, it's pretty fast, although I don't love what it tells, but the screenplay in itself is good. The makeup maybe, and that's it. The performances to me are not nomination worthy, to be honest. The second movie I'm talking about is The Tragedy of Macbeth, a retelling, of course, of the famed play by Shakespeare called Macbeth. And this is directed by Joel Coen, a half of the Coen brothers directing duo. His brother is not directing this, just Joel Coen. His wife, Frances McDormand, is in the movie as Lady Macbeth, and Denzel Washington plays Macbeth. There's not much to tell about the plot of the movie because I think we all know kind of what Macbeth is about, even if we haven't read it. They made just almost word for word the play, like a classic play, but the way the cinematography and the production design work here in conjunction with the actors is just amazing. Before I turned on the movie, which is available on Apple TV Plus, I was like, okay, maybe I'm not going to like this if it's too theatery, but I loved it because it's an amazing way to introduce you to that world and to make you interested in a story that maybe has been told a little bit too many times in a little bit too many ways, but it really works. The performances, I think, are just as good as that cinematography and production design. Frances McDormand is really, really good, and I hate to say it because she has won 3 Academy Awards now, I think. I mean, it's insane. She doesn't need another one, but she could be nominated for this. I really liked her in this. Maybe as a supporting actress because I don't know how much she actually is in the movie. Denzel Washington for sure is going to be nominated for this classic character and just amazing performance. Very subdued but very powerful at the same time. And there's this actress called Catherine Hunter, yes, she portrays the three witches, and she really has maybe 10 minutes screen time at most, but she's fantastic. She's just such a physical actress, such a powerful actress in the sense of theater. I mean, she really knows how to use her body in order for the people in the back rows to really see her and really appreciate whatever character she's embodying. And this really feels like a camera was put in a stage, but it really feels different. I don't know, it was so well achieved. Cinematography really works in its advantage. I think Catherine Hunter and Denzel Washington for sure should be nominated for awards, because this is an amazing movie in which really the performances and the rest of the crafts really integrate each other and make something just outstanding. I was really surprised by this movie, and I think everyone should see it. And it's not long, which is great also, so go and see it because it's really good. It's really an amazing retelling of a classic. And the final movie I'm going to talk about is The Eyes of Tammy Faye, directed by Michael Showalter. It stars Jessica Chastain as Tammy Faye Baker, a famed televangelist from the 70s, 80s, and beginning of the 90s. And she was married to Jim Baker, who was also a televangelist, and they were this power couple in the televangelist, media, and they had a whole channel for Christians, and they talk about so many different things. And their brand basically was to not discriminate anyone and integrate everyone in the love of God, and tell them that everyone was going to be fine because God loved everyone. I think that message and that part of her philosophy as a Christian was very well received, and that's why she's still very much loved by so many people, especially LGBT people. And I think it's a very interesting look into a woman in the center of religion and how she decided to be blind to some things and how she decided to live her life. Basically, her husband was accused of basically pocketing a bunch of money that he should have invested in the projects that he told everyone he was going to do, and he was also accused of rape, so he was sent to jail for a while, and now he's out of jail. He's remarried, he has a bunch of kids, and he's still alive. Sadly, Tammy Faye isn't. She died of colon cancer in 2007, I think, so her life was a little bit sad because she died prematurely. But I think the movie does a great job portraying the kind of person she was, and I think it's great that Jessica Chastain bought the rights for this movie in order to really portray her as she was, not only physically, which is very well achieved. I mean, Jessica Chastain's makeup is really outstanding. If you see her and Tammy Faye, she really looks exactly the same. I mean, it's quite amazing. But also her performance really brings her and makes you see someone that you think you know, like this kind of Christian people that really love Jesus. She gives them a little bit of room and a little bit of dimension, if you will, to a character like that you think you know, and you always think it stereotypically, and people have mocked people like that for a long time, but they're people. They have this inner world as we all do, and it's interesting to explore it. I think Andrew Garfield's performance is also really good, and I love Andrew Garfield. He's my platonic boyfriend. He's amazing. I always love anything he does, so he's amazing here. And I think the screenplay is a little bit flawed. I think it could have been a little bit better. I think it jumps too fast between vignettes almost of her life. Staying in one place, showing us some other things would have been in our advantage as viewers. But the performances is great. It's 2 hours, but it's fast 2 hours. You don't feel like you have been there forever. It's a nice little biopic. It's not going to win tons of awards. I think makeup and best actress are the safest bets, but I think it's a cool movie to see in the sense that you don't really see those people portrayed like that. It's not insulting, it's not putting them down, it's showing the world that they built and how they started to fuck it up. So thank you so much for watching this review. Please comment down below whatever you thought about these 3 movies, and of course like this video, share on social media, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. Goodbye.